Act as young as you feel. You're not getting older, you're getting more entitled to be your fabulous self. After you make a fool of yourself a few hundred times, you learn what works. Never say never. In your life, you never know what's going to happen next. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your performance for high heels. We all have to go through hard times. Tragedies. Those are given to us to see what we're going to do with them. Thank God that I get to do what I get to do. There's no way to tell you how grateful I am. Life is short and you've got to get the most out of it. Love is when you have a bad day, but then you see the one you love and everything seems to be okay. No one can force me to do something unless I'm passionate about it. People might think you can turn creativity on and off, but it's not like that. It just kind of comes out. A mashup of all these things you collect in your mind. You never know when it's gonna happen, but when it does, it's like magic. It's just that simple and it's just that hard. If I wasn't even famous or had any success, I would still wake up and put tons of makeup on and put on a cool outfit. That's always been who I've been my whole life, so that's never gonna change. I love fashion. I love getting dressed up. I love Halloween, too. My songs are basically my diaries. Some of my best songwriting has come out of time when I've been going through a personal nightmare. I have to be creative to be happy. Waking up to find another day. The moon got lost again last night, but now the sun has finally had its say. I think I've been able to fool a lot of people because I know I'm a dork. I'm a geek. I clearly remember writing songs and the power that it gave me of feeling like somebody. My whole life changed when I wrote those songs, even before anyone ever heard them. It wasn't a commercial thing. I have people that are affected by what I do, what I say, and that would be the one place where it gets complicated. But being honest and truthful, I just believe that's the best way to be. I've always been a girl who loves to dress up. I've never been good at giving advice. The only advice I ever gave people was to find something that you are passionate about. But I hate giving advice, because who am I? I'm just a girl. I'm lucky to not have a real job, to be able to express myself, be creative and be relevant. Don't shave, don't shower, don't care. Be really stinky and wear the same clothes every day. I think what makes a man sexy is not being self-aware. That's what's really cute to me. Fashion is an extension of your personality, and I've always been obsessed. I always want to have something different than everybody else. My husband really loves the red, so I keep the red because I want to keep the husband. When you write a great song, it just blows you away. When you write a song that connects with people around the world, I mean like it actually transcends language barriers, you see how it can affect people, and it's quite a tall order to follow up on. What did turtles evolve from? Really, I want to know. And for God's sake, don't say lizards, because turtles are nothing like lizards. They could not be more different. I think after doing push and shove and having it not be successful, I lost a lot of confidence. Songwriting, for me, has always been traumatic, and I've always made all these excuses. But I've realized that you have to just accept that it was a gift. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how I did it, but I did write all those songs, and I gotta do it again. The fantasy is always to get what you want, what you wear, and to be able to take it with you, so you don't have to bring all the other stuff. I just started digging through my drawers of my favorites, and I asked myself, what is it that I can't live without? There's nothing that compares to being in a band with your best friends. We're so comfortable together, we understand each other. It feels like normal. Whereas solo period felt like I was trying to be something, and play a role, and pretend. I was down after divorce, I was all the way down. And I just felt like, God, I gotta turn this around. I can't go down like this. I have to know that this is happening for a reason. And I knew that I had to turn to music. I have to work very hard to look the way I do. I want the girls out there to know that. A great day for me is not getting out of bed. I like to see how many snacks I can eat and how many really bad TV shows I can watch on like a peanut butter sandwich. I didn't know anything about fashion growing up in Orange County. I just knew about it through music, how ska bands dressed. I grew up in a normal family. I have sweet parents who are still married. But my life is so different from how I thought it would be. When you discover your sexualities like when you're little, you don't notice it. Then suddenly you're walking down the street and you're whistled at. And you're like, oh, I have this power I didn't know about. And you also discover you're kind of prey. And you're like, wait, that's confusing. I don't know why I've always loved makeup so much. It helps me get ready for my day and the stage. It really does make a huge difference. We're just so lucky as women to be able to wear it. If you're having a bad day, you can change that. Guys don't have a choice and just have to face the world like that. Could you imagine? I definitely look back at certain moments and don't think I look good, but I know why. I didn't have a hairstylist. I did all my own makeup, and I was going to the local fabric store for all of my outfits. Finding that balance between work and family is the hardest thing I've ever done by far. We're a perfect couple. He cooks, and I eat. Being in a band, you can wear whatever you want. It's like an excuse for Halloween every day. I've always loved fashion. It's a reflection of your personality. I'm trying to be present, not thinking and worrying about the past or the future. That's such a waste of time, you know? Once I find something I'm passionate about, I get this crazy drive. I think when I first started discovering I could write songs, I was so naive. And it was after I got broken up with and had my heart sliced up into a bunch of little pieces that I was like, I'm going to say this. I didn't even know how to play guitar. And all I know is, you've got to give me everything. Nothing less, cause, you know I give you all of me. I grew up near Disneyland, and my brother's an animator, so I was always really inspired by bright, cartoony colors and that whole feeling of happiness. Oh yeah, fortunately the girls are a lot braver than the guys. They flirt all the time. Even being close to LA, I was always inspired by old movies and Marilyn Monroe and the glamour of Hollywood. Music and fashion, it all comes from the same place of creativity. Was the one thing I didn't want to fail at. If you're not Prince, you're never going to sound like Prince. I love that contradiction of being feminine but playing in the boys' treehouse. My whole life's been like that. I imagine my children are going to save me from my vanity and be my passion and fill whatever fears I have of the amazing time I'm having right now being gone. A miracle. My biggest accomplishment is my marriage so far. Because it's hard, everyone knows it's hard. Writing songs is super intimate. It's a bit like getting naked. I take the palette with me, but I have a lot of makeup. I was a makeup artist when I was younger, but I'm not that good compared with my makeup artist, so I keep things pretty simple. I explore a lot with pink and nude lipsticks, but I love red lipsticks. I love a line and a lash and a brow. So I don't need a lot, but I have a lot. It's all there just in case for Halloween or whatever. People can say whatever they want to about me. And I don't get too affected. But I didn't want them to think I was a failure. How am I supposed to be a mom to 2 kids, a wife, and do a show every night? It's impossible. Working with and letting people in to try new melodies and new lyrical ideas was very hard. I've made clothes my whole life, but I was just naive about the fashion world. But I think it's successful because I've been really involved. Picking the samples, inspirations, color palette. The moment you get pregnant, you're tortured by the fear of not doing it well. But I feel at peace with that right now. My mom was always making me clothes. We'd go to the fabric store, pick out patterns, and it was a creative process. I heard that word a lot growing up, creative. People will tell me, you're such a punk rebel, this or that, but I was not that growing up. I was actually a super sheltered, conservative girl. Now, there was probably a bit of me that was like, why do I have to be like that? It's interesting to watch where music is going next. Isn't it always rotating? It is so weird how disposable pop music is, even mine. It just goes by so fast. I love Vivienne Westwood. So much. Every time I go to London, first thing I do is go in there. It's ridiculous. Our memories, they can be inviting. but some are altogether mighty frightening. To write an album takes so much focus and selfish time to just write and think about your life. For me, maybe not for other people. I remember the day I discovered James Dean and Marilyn Monroe. I don't know why it affected me so strongly, but I walked down to the corner store and bought every poster of them, and I did my whole room up. Overnight. I think everyone has gifts and everyone has talents. If you are successful at it, it feels really good, but it never really penetrates completely. I'm in a band, and I know exactly who those girls are. I know exactly what goes on backstage. I wish I had a little leash to walk him around. I wanted so badly to have a backup plan for when I'm not performing anymore. Let's be realistic, it's not going to be like this forever. My parents always pushed creativity on us, but they made it seem like the fun thing to do. I'm just writing what I feel, and I really don't think I've done anything wrong that I need to hide. The biggest thing, and I don't even like to bring it up, is my children. You've got to protect them. Now I'm a wife and a mother of 2. It's a really different role. I always referred to No Doubt as a marriage, because that's what it's like to be together for so long and go through what we've been through. I can't really have that relationship with them anymore. At first it was my brother's songwriting, and I was just doing what everyone told me. It's super fun being a mom, but it's hard too. I remember so vividly the first song I ever wrote. It was called Different People. I don't fight with people like I can barely fight with my husband because I'll just start crying instead. When you're a parent, you're just like, God, I hope they like me when they grow up. I hope that I did a good job. I hope they're gonna be happy. The one thing that makes me feel super lucky about my financial success is that I have a housekeeper. The intention of being married is the vow, right? You want to put everything into it to make it a success. And if I let myself down, appear on stage when I'm not looking my best, it's not fun for me. I just beat myself up about it. Being a singer is all about me. About ego. Being a mom is all about being selfless, 2 different worlds. As a famous person, you think how you're gonna end it, get away, and have a normal life. It was such a turning point to find that I had a talent and I had something to contribute, somewhere. I work out 5 days a week. I can't imagine not doing it. There are limits put on women, but why should there be? I would love to learn to play something so I don't have to rely on someone to collaborate with. When you first have a baby, your life doesn't change. I mean, you have a little less sleep and you drag these cuddly things around you, and it's just amazing. But you still get to be you. Once they get to, 5, 6 in school, and it starts to get, wow, they got real problems. They're my responsibility. Oh my God. That is overwhelming. It feels like the more I'm out there in the public eye, the more criticism I get. You need to have confidence. That's what it takes to walk out there and sing a song in front of a huge group of people. You're always telling me to go out more, go ahead, get out and see the world, but then I think, why should I? I'd rather stay home and cry. Now I got my foot through the door and I ain't going nowhere. Working so hard every night and day, and now we get to lay back. Look at your watch now. You're still a super hot female. I'm kind of lazy. I like to lie around with my husband and watch TV and stuff like that. Out of all the artistic things I do, music is the most rewarding because it's so hard to write songs. We were making music that was the opposite of grunge and what was popular on the radio, and we were fine with that. And for a garage band, we were massive. We were already successful in our own minds. I remember when I was in school, they would ask, "What are you going to be when you grow up?" And then you'd have to draw a picture of it. I drew a picture of myself as a bride. I have learned to delegate. It takes a lot of selfish time to make music,